Sheep, 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 sheep. Welcome to the Unicorn Circuit, your weekly dose of Fanking, car news, my towns, your towns, crap cars. We've got a show today that is so big that strangely it appears to be the same size as every show we
It'll
make
fit into the same
every
amount
week.
of time in your day that you've chosen to watch or listen, to which we are very appreciative that you're into it. Because sometimes I don't understand, but then some people walk up to me in the street and say, I love Unicorn Circuit.
Has anyone ever done that?
Yes.
Really?
Literally last week, someone walked up and said, dude, Mighty Carmel's Scott, I love Unicorn Circuit. I froth, I can't wait to tell. I listen to it, I watch it all the time.
Good
I
job,
sit it up
Martin.
on my thing at work and I just sit there. I'm like, cool.
Well done.
That's good.
That's great. I mean, it's a lot of fun to make. We like hanging out here with you every week, or
When we feel
according
like it.
to some conspiratorial comment, multiple times a week. Sometimes.
It's not the section for Conspiracy Hat Cat, but people are all like, why is there so many Unicorn Circuit episodes?
I mean, when you say so many, it's a weekly show and we do it 20 times a year. So the maths is not quite right
No.
for a weekly show. Sometimes we try and get some extra in so we can keep claiming it is weekly. But of course, it's not weekly. Before we kick into the news, the posters we've got, the limited edition posters,
yes.
they finished this week. I think it's maybe in either 2 days or 3 days. If you did want to get yourself an autographed Miss Daisy poster, now is the time. Here's a picture of kind of what it looks like.
They don't put just any
There's a
old
link.
car on those posters.
They're
They've got to be
special.
special. For whatever reason, they've got to be special in our hearts, minds, and left toes.
Left toes.
Yeah, the toes on your left foot.
Left foot. Great.
We should be
Do you
professional.
know why humans have 5 toes, Martin?
No.
All right.
Tell us at the end.
No, I don't actually know.
I don't either.
I'd have to Google it. All right, let's jump into the car news. Today in the car news, we've got a big one. You may have heard that Top Gear Australia is back.
Because it's actually in the news.
BBC's making it. It's in the news. There was some speculation. Now it is back. How do we know? I was asked to audition and I was like, you get both of us or you get none of us. That's what I was thinking. And then I had a chat with Marty and I was like, Martin, what do you think?
And I said, you should do it, man. Just audition and do it and see if you get it. And sure enough.
They rang me up and said, do you want to do it? And then I chatted with Martin and we had a little conversation about it and I'm going to give it a crack. Mighty Car Mods will continue as normally. We try and take a little bit of time off each year and that kind of coincides with this. So probably
Actually worked out well.
I can't say much about it because of reasons you can imagine. TV's a kind of different beast. Never really done it before, but I'm going to give it a crack and very proud to represent all 38 of you on the television screen.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. And Martin's going to be working on his Gemini. That's it.
People that know about cars on TV need more of it. It's a good thing. And yes, I will be working on my Gemini. It's actually today. It's been kicked off today.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a long, long process. So don't expect updates right away. I want to show you once I've actually got stuff to show you. But we did start ripping things apart, which is exciting.
You know what went absolutely massively? The K24 Civic episode. Absolute bonkers. Pretty much a year's worth of work all in an episode. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Martin, in other car news, we've been hitting up the news multiple times this week. We're actually in the news.
Yes.
There's the Top Gear news, and then there's also Super Cheap Auto in the news because there was a claim about the TV commercial of which Martin and I played a couple of elderly gentlemen driving around a Turbo Camry doing skids.
We didn't even need makeup. We were so grey and bald and that cranky and old that they were just like, dude, you don't need makeup. They send us to the makeup tent and they're like,
oh, did we already do you guys?
You guys have already been done. And we're like, sure.
Oh, Martin. Anyway, a complaint came through to the advertising board of some kind.
A complaint in that is not like a YouTube comment complaint.
No.
But it only takes one complaint to make this a story, which I think is just
and it
blows
was
my mind.
one complaint. So the ad obviously is, it's retirement rampage. So the idea is there's a bunch of famous car people and different car-associated race drivers and stuff, all racing to get to bingo at the same time.
Fictional
In
village.
a fictional village, closed course, professional drivers, stunt only. Anyway, we'll get to more of that in a second. They're doing stunts around, and then at one point, stunt driver an actual stunt driver is doing some donuts around someone, he hands them an apple. And so that one there was seen as dangerous. So according to the standards of advertising on TV, it wasn't allowed. But what's interesting about that is that it is allowed to stay on YouTube because it's longer and it's a feature. And I think that is kind of one of the distinctions we're now seeing between advertising on different formats. There's obviously different rules and regulations on each of those, but I can't really speak about the standards of kind of why those systems exist. But what I can say as someone who was on the ground there for a number of days is they took the safety really, really seriously. We were asked if we were okay to do stunts or if we wanted to be stunted out for someone else. We would rehearse it multiple times. The one of me kind of getting jumped with the truck, it was rehearsed multiple times. Truck goes, car goes, time them, make sure they're the same. It never felt dangerous. And certainly all of the cars there, we've worked with them for years, some of these stunt drivers. They're excellent, professional, and I felt like I was in really safe hands. So I know the news will make whatever story it wants, but as someone who was there on the ground, I always felt like it was controlled and safe.
And there's been times where we have asked the stunt people if we can have a go at that particular thing. And the only time we're ever really doing that is when there's no one to hit. There's no one to run into. It's just like, can you do a handbrakey through that thing? And the worst thing that's going to happen is your
hit a garbage bin.
Your Camry's going to hit a garbage bin or hit a thing. But it's really well run. So it was surprising to see that, like, it's so dangerous. It's like, well, I was there and no.
Yeah, it wasn't that. But I understand what they're trying to do. And I actually did a little bit of research, and there's kind of a bunch of different ads that have been kind of pulled for various different things. There's certain rules and regulations of what can be depicted. And if it's depicted as kind of being illegal, then I guess that's a problem if it's depicted on a public street. The problem with this is that it was clearly fictional. And there's ads on TV where, like, cyclones come in and people go flying through the air in bathtubs and stuff. That to me would be more dangerous, really.
Yes.
And is also fictionalised. Anyway, Martin, what have we got in the news? I mean, we're in the news, but what have you got, mate?
In the news, I want to speak about the BRZ TS. And there's a reason I want to speak about this now. It's a BRZ that Subaru have released, and people go, whoa, is that like the turbo one, or is that the this or that? No.
It won't be a turbo one.
It's not. No. Because manufacturers have been doing this sort of stuff for ages. Some people call it like it's a sticker engineering or a badge pack or whatever it is. And often when you look at a car like this and go, okay, you get tuned suspension, you get front and rear Brembo brakes. Now people go, oh, okay, brakes aren't that exciting. Actually,
well, they actually
if
are.
you go back through all the different Subarus you could buy at a time, those ones are holding their value higher.
Yes.
If you've got a particular STI or whatever, a particular bad example, they all came with Brembos, that have like a brake upgrade or something like that. Liberty's the ones I can think off the top of my head. They were tuned by STI, which is similar to what this BRZ is.
They were good.
They're holding their value like way more than anything else. So even though you might look at this and go, oh, it's just you get a sticker and a thing and some brakes and some different wheels and some ultra suede leather and some a different colour start button, an instrument cluster that says STI. If you go back now and you try and buy a Liberty from the 90s or the early 2000s as an example, if one of those pops up, it's like 2 to 3 times more valuable.
Really?
So yeah, a stock one might be $4,000 and that might go for 10 because it is a bit special. It is limited numbers. So it's easy to look at these and go, why would you? That's part of the reason. Some people are actually still into it.
You might be going, why would you? Because you've already got one. But if you're in the market for a car and you're considering a BRZ and all of a sudden they go, hey, special this, special that, bigger brakes, that would be enough to convince me to do it. It's similar with instruments. We see all the time there's special edition synthesizers come out, then all of a sudden one comes out and it goes, hey, it's the same thing, it's got a little effects section. If you were on the fence about buying one, that is probably the time that you actually go and do it.
And I would say, these are already excellent, I've driven a couple of them now, excellent track cars.
Yeah.
If you just want to buy a stock car, you can either go get like a GR Yaris or you can get a BRZ or something like that. Interestingly, when I drove my Yaris and a BRZ, this version of BRZ back to back, exactly the same time for me. And even though they felt very different, it was still the same time, and those times don't lie.
Yep.
If you could also get Brembos, which is a pretty good upgrade actually for a track car, just more, you can put more heat into them, they'll last longer, and in the long run probably be cheaper to run. I reckon that's very worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of fun. It took a very slow conversion for me to kind of get on the 86 BRZ train. Like, I was very, very limited interest for a long time until I turbocharged one. It was great. And I would actually say, I know you might be a BRZ purist. I've got lots of cars and I drive lots of different cars all of the time. So I'm not like as deep in the BRZ world as maybe some people that's their only car. But what I would say is that I got a similar amount of enjoyment from the 2.4 litre than I got with a turbocharged old one, which is what I own. Yeah. Similar kind of feel. Yeah. It almost feels turbo when you drive it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's got
VTEC,
that kind of, yeah.
It's VTEC is very noticeable, but not in a bad way and not on a track. In other news, our Subaru Brumby is basically, it's done. It's still going through its engineering process. We will let you know when there's a date for raffles. It's actually going through the legals and all the sort of contractual stuff. It has to be raffled. It's a big job, but we haven't forgotten it is there, and you'll be the first to know the second. If you are interested, there is a link to sign up where you'll get emailed before anyone else about when you can go and get raffle tickets. So that's still happening, but these things in Australia take ages to do, but to do it all legit. So that's a little update for you too, speaking of Subarus.
One of the ways to increase a car's productivity in terms of its sales is to auto-ify it. Here's a car that I never thought would be coming out auto. GR Yaris. It's coming out reportedly as an automatic. The idea, of course, is to try and increase the potential people that can enjoy those cars. Also one that I was very slow to adopt to. Once Marty got one, we did a bunch of mods to it. A really fun car. Like one of the funnest, small, little, fast, powerful mad nuggets you can get. In my mind, it's a little GTIR of the current generation.
Yes,
just
agreed.
Little and mad. It's going to be a direct automatic transmission. People don't know exactly what it's like, 6-speed, 8-speed, flappy paddle. There's not a whole lot of details out yet, but the power is going to bump around 20 kilowatts from 200 to 220.
I think, I'm surprised I'm saying this, I think this is good. Because that Yaris is such an awesome little car to drive, but I reckon there's a lot of people that just, they want the auto experience for driving around town. They're not necessarily going to do track car things. And also, from a performance point of view, if that is a good auto, like a good 8-speed, non-CVT, proper torque converter, all this sort of stuff, you're going to see drag ones.
Yeah.
You're going to see people doing drag runs in them quicker than the manual one can. And I think that combination of that all-drive system and a decent auto, because autos are a lot better now than they were 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Like, they're actually good. And we've had this conversation before, but I reckon this is going to be a good thing for you. I'd be very interested to drive on.
Yeah, and I think as well, the numbers aren't going to lie. They are going to be quicker. And these are the same arguments people have been having for years with Golf GTIs and Golf Rs. It's like the DSG is faster, and but I like stick shift and I like whatever. Different people are going to like different things, but ultimately for a lot of people, you can't argue with performance, which is probably a good segue to announce it is the end for the manual GTI and Golf Rs. For Volkswagen from 2024. They won't exist anymore.
No more manual gearboxes.
We haven't had them here for ages anyway, like 5 years or so. Like they haven't existed in Australia, but certainly America, where stick shift is that what they call it in America? Stick shift. Sounds very American, doesn't it? Here, over there was kind of obviously still a market for it, but overseas they're doing their final run. The GTI 380, which is probably similar to the TS, it'll have a few little changes. It'll be manual. They'll try and get rid of those, and then it's just going to be auto only. What is a Mark 9 Golf GTI, Golf R going to look like? No one knows. I mean, maybe someone knows, but is it going to be hybrid? Is it going to be electric? I doubt it's going to be an internal combustion engine. Well, the name is what's powerful. The name is what's there. Which they could have called the ID3 the Golf.
The difference from 5 to 6 was pretty substantial. 6 to 7, I argue 7.5 is the best one they've made.
It is.
7 to 8 was a weird step that I don't understand.
That's a sideways step.
What's 8 to 9? Because if it's going to be as sick as a 7.5, but like brand new, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
still think the value of 7.5s are going to go up because now that it's had time to kind of soak into the market or whatever, people love the 7.5s, man. And that's what's funny. I saw an M2 the other day for the first time on the road, the new square design. It was quite assaulting to look at. I'm like, what's that? And then I was like, oh, it's the M2. But over time, does it soften? Yeah. Everybody said, the Mark 8, the kind of front of it, it'll look better in time. It's not looking better in time. No, I mean, for me anyway, but maybe it needs more time than that.
I still don't think Bug-Eye Subarus look good. Bug-Eye WRXs?
No. I like the peanutty one.
They look a bit chunky. Nah, still not doing it for me. I mean, our Subaru was...
That's 2002 model?
Yeah.
But then 2005, they look good, right? That's called the peanut?
That's an interesting point, because the 2005 STI is still considered one of the best ones. Even though it doesn't have all the best tech, it had a 2-litre, which is the Revy one. It had Brembos, which is the good one.
But they look better than the Hawkeye, which is 09?
Agreed. And the gearbox was the good gearbox, and it had the good hubs and all the good stuff. That was the sweet spot one. That's the same, I would argue, as like a 7.5. Golf R.
Okay.
It's the one that you want.
Anyway, that is that news. That's pretty much it. I've got one more little piece of news for you. I was chatting with Marty before and I was like, do we even include this in the news or not? And he's like, absolutely. Toyota Camry hybrid sedan. Toyota's no longer taking orders, not because it's discontinued. They're just trying to catch up with the backlog.
I can't believe it.
They're just too good.
They're too good.
They're just too good.
And our Camry, funnily enough...
It's being a Camry.
It's also the best and worst thing about that Camry is that it just Camrys. It just works. Like, you get in it and it makes massive whoosh noises. It makes nearly 2.5 times the power it did before we turboed it.
It's a weird sounding car.
It looks a bit rough, but like, it just works. It just Camrys.
Yes. And it's lived on.
Even when it's
you probably saw someone smashed it up anonymously.
Yep.
Thanks for that. Not so anonymous. We found out who that was. There's a video here. But it lives on. And it lives on
just works.
As the best / worst car we've ever had on this show.
I have been throwing around the idea of pulling the driveline out and putting in a RAV4. Just saying.
Really?
Oh, I think that'd be kind of sick.
Oh, man.
But then the Camry goes away. See, that's the hard thing. It's like the engine, the turbo, and the ECU, all that stuff's so good. I'm like, oh, imagine that in like an all-wheel drive two-door manual. No.
Yeah.
But then you don't have your Camry anymore. What would you do?
Oh man, I mean, we have got. It's funny, you know, because it's like
sport for choice.
There's still a couple of months till Christmas, but we feel like we got so many mad projects coming up for the coming months. We're starting to go, hey Marty, I want to do this thing, and it's well,
there's no time.
Christmas is coming up. We've got this thing. We got the Top Gear stuff that'll be happening for a little while,
and then
you
got to try and have a
we're
week
going to be back,
off.
And we're starting, which doesn't suit my personality at all. Going, hey Martin, let's do a rap for or whatever. Cool, we'll do that in June next year. You know, it's like there's lots of cool things happening, and multiple little nuggets being built at the same time. I think I did let you know that I got a bunch of stuff that I needed from the UK for the Up project. It's incoming. It is actually here. I think I found the pieces that we need. It is incoming. That's it, Martin. Are we done?
Is that even legal? I don't know. Is it? He'll tell us.
Every week on Is That Even Legal, we explore the world by exploring their laws. Martin, do you like high heels?
Oh, in certain situations?
Martin, do you like ancient monuments?
Yeah. No, I do. It's cool. Built it with it. Like you built it with it.
Martin, do you like ancient monuments in high heels?
Hi, Cheryl.
I'm sorry, I'm wrecking the segment. Martin, do you like high heels? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Do you like ancient monuments?
Sure.
That is illegal in Greece. This one's real. I triple checked it from 3 bodgy websites. In Greece, it is illegal to wear high heels around ancient monuments and has been so since 2009. This is one of the first times we go, is that even legal? It makes sense. Your high heel could be damaging very special monuments and therefore you can't wear them. And that is an excellent law. Unlike Segway, I'm segueing because I forgot to mention this in the news, Martin, and this was a big one. I can't even find my notes anymore. Recently, a court has ruled
this is huge.
in Victoria about EVs.
Yes.
Oh my God, I just did Apple paste and my information arrived because I must have accidentally deleted it. So we've got this thing in Australia, right, where it kind of feels a little bit like people are disincentivized from getting EVs. And by that, it's not, hey, take a free car and get a free Bluetooth massager with it. It's the opposite. So basically what they were trying to do is down in Victoria do a distance-based charge as reported in Drive and many other different publications. They wanted to say it was 2.8 cents. So every K you drive 10 Ks, you pay 28 cents. But then if you've got a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, they would get you to pay 2.3 cents. The problem is that a hybrid car also needs petrol, and the petrol is also getting that fuel excise put on it, which means you're paying the fuel excise and you're paying the hybrid. So you it's a double dipping situation. So you've got a hybrid and now you're getting double dicked. Because instead of just one.
In Australia, you've got the federal government and you've got the state government. Federal government, there are some roads that are federally funded, and on most of them, I believe, is state government. So the state government is required to maintain the roads, build roads, but they need the money to do it. So the state law puts on a fuel excise, which is essentially a tax. So we actually pay in Australia around double what the fuel's actually
I think it's
worth.
like 48%,
Something
maybe,
like
or 50%.
that. So if it's actually $1 a litre to buy, Australia buys it at $1 a litre,
we're
or the
$2
manufacturers do, we pay $2. So it's actually substantial. Electric cars get around this because you're obviously not going to the petrol station.
And so if you're not going to the petrol station, where does the money go with? Well, that is why they brought in this kind of distance-based charge. It turns out it's not constitutional. It's not actually able to be passed, which is huge. Massive, absolutely huge news. But it begs the question, this has been implemented since 2021. So for the last couple of years, everybody's been paying that excise. Everybody's been paying their distance-based charge.
Yep.
Where is that money? And do they get the money back?
Yep.
It's
amazing that they got this through in Victoria as well, because without like inflaming the comments, it was like a Labor government, and the Premier was all supposed to be very forward-thinking and all this and then they went, yeah, cool, tax the EVs. It's like, but don't you want green energy, and don't you want EVs and all this stuff to take off? And there was like rebates as well for buying the EVs in the first place.
I don't think they even have that anymore. I think they're like...
But there is some tax thing where I think if you get an EV, which, by the way, this is another one for a prediction later, but there's like, if you buy a particular kind of hybrid or electric car, you don't have to pay the same fringe benefits as if you got the petrol one, which again can add up to tens of thousands of dollars for years.
That's a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing because you have more options of cars you can buy that are more tax effective. And the second that you start seeing dual cab utes, which we speak about all the time, that are tax effective, that are also, oh, hey, you buy the electric or the semi-electric one, you're going to save more money. People will just be pumping that. That sector will go absolutely nuts.
What's interesting about this, and maybe it's a very 40-something conversation
there's a whole
to
podcast
have
on this, yeah.
about like the tax effectiveness of your vehicles, because I'm looking at the shit effectiveness of vehicles. When I go to Marketplace and I just go look at that, I'm like, how much turd do you think is in that? And I'll buy it. It never occurs to me what its tax effect is. But for people, if you've got a fleet or you've got 10 staff, 20 staff, 50 staff, and the government is making you pay for stuff and there's a way around it, people will find effective ways to run their businesses. Is that even legal? We got deep.
It's a legal thing, man.
We got heavy.
Definitely is. What do we got next? We got my crap
car.
This week
No, you go.
This week on my crap. Don't do the mouth.
I'm not. I'm just getting involved.
I prefer the talking over the mouth thing, because the problem with the mouth thing is you hear this when he's doing it, which is nearly as bad as.
Oh, don't do that again.
As bad as that, right?
Oh, last week, did that drive anyone else crazy? Okay, what are we doing?
This week on my crap car, we have
is
Adrian's.
Oh yes, the Blue Mountains.
Excellent, from the Blue Mountains, and he's got a blue bird.
I love these cars, by the way. These are the penultimate. No, I think these are an awesome car because no one really knows how cool they are. We were even debating, this is not a crap car, because we're like, this is awesome. But then we had to put our normal person eyes on, and we're like, yeah, of course it's a crap car.
Not our Nissan fanboy
We don't think
eyes.
it's crap though.
I actually think it's sick.
Excellent video. I think you're going to enjoy this. Check it out.
Hi Marty and Moog. This is my crap car. And it's a Nissan. It's crap because something is missing from here and here. It's a unicorn and it's my nugget. It's my 1993 U13 Bluebird Triple S. So if you're not familiar, these were designed in California, sold in the Americas as a Nissan Altima with a KA24 DE front wheel drive. In Japan, they came with a variety of drivetrains from a GA to SR20DE and SR20DET with the Tesla all-wheel drive system. They even came as a diesel. But in Australia, we got the Japanese spec car with the American drivetrain. Inside we get the glorious moquette cloth interior. And yes guys, it smells like a Nissan. Climate control. Fantastic Clarion CD player, which I've added Bluetooth to. Cruise control, power windows, power mirrors, cup holders, and head-up display. And because it snows so much in Australia, you even get a ski port. Under the bonnet we have the naturally aspirated KA24DE engine, which develops 112 kilowatts and has no doubt chopped many a Camry in its day. And because it's a 90s car, it's got plenty of cool features like cornering lamps, spot lamps, a factory wind deflector, even another wind deflector on the rear window, and a rear wiper. I have a little bit of a history with these cars. I originally had one in the early 2000s. It was a low K example and it turned out to be an absolute lemon. So then, 20 years on, I decided to do it all again. So I hope you enjoyed the walk around of my 1993 U13 Bluebird Triple S. It's my crap car and I love it. I love your work guys. Cheers.
Well done. And really good production on that video as well.
It's just funny that they called it like a Triple S Bluebird, like, because you could get a Bluebird that was like basically a GTIR but in a sedan form and get an SR20, but that's got like the American K thing and a KA24, and that is like designed in America or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Did he say designed in California? I didn't know that.
It's all
That's
a
cool.
bit odd. We did get them here, and they were a competitor to, at the time, front-wheel drive Subaru Liberties. You could go down to a dealer and either buy that Nissan or a Subaru Liberty that did kind of the same thing, that was kind of the same size. And my friend's parents had one, and I actually quite liked it. I thought it was kind of a cool car.
What did Subaru used to say back then? Because now it's all for the driver, all-wheel drive, whatever. What did their slogan used to be?
Actually,
Did they have a thing?
I
Does
should
someone
know that,
know?
though.
Someone old school out there know what the old Subaru thing was? Obviously, the all for the driver came later.
Don't know.
Anyway,
Don't
we
know.
would love to see your crap car. Thank you very much for sending that
There's
in.
been
It was
some
excellent.
gems.
We'd love to see your car, mycrapcar at theunicorncircuit.com. If you have sent us one in recently, we have received it, and you will
and
probably
throw.
see your car on an upcoming episode
Yep.
of the Unicorn
Next
Circuit.
up, it's the section that you're all waiting for with bated breath.
It's Fanking. No, it's not.
Conspiracy hat
It's
cat.
Conspiracy Fank Hat. Did you just hear that?
Yeah, that was a weird noise.
Sound like a bat.
That was a weird noise.
A bat screaming.
That sounded like a bat.
Did you hear that at home?
This
Hear a
is
bat screeching.
This conspiracy is probably one of the biggest ones that we've ever had on the show.
How many wormholes will our minds be blown?
3.
Oh,
3 wormholes away.
disappointing.
Not really, because by the time you're blown through the 3rd wormhole, you're back to your current self, but in the same dimension, but everything's just a little bit different, like being in Shelby.
because it's 3 layers of
3
reality.
layers, but you're back. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, enough about that. So, this one's about food, people, because look, food's like people
It's
eat,
conspiratorial.
humans eat food, it's conspiratorial.
Yep.
Food portions have been getting smaller. We've covered this before. If you go and buy a Snickers, which by the way, we never got.
Oh, last week,
Knew that'd get you.
triggered. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, on a whim, we decided to call out Domino's. And we're like, hey, can you send us some pizza?
And it rocked up.
They sent us some pizzas to the door. Then they sent us a code for
100 free
100
pizzas.
pizzas.
We're trying to work out how to mail merge
so
that
thank you.
so that you
or we
guys
just
get
like,
one, but
or we eat it. I know, we're
worked it
trying to
out
work
yet.
that out. The next week, we called out Boost Juice. They got back to us. They loaded 2 drinks onto the Boost, like a gift card for us. I had one yesterday. I had your vegan plant power. Thank you very much. It was great.
Sounds so yuck.
I wouldn't have minded 100 of them, but one was all right. But then last week, not everyone can be Domino's. But then last week, we called out Snickers, which I believe is the Mars Corporation, with a heartfelt story about my lifetime of enjoying the endeared Snickers treat. Absolute silence in the
Tumbleweeds.
inbox. I would suggest if you work somewhere, email someone, because I want a Snickers bar and I don't want to buy it.
You don't have to. But if you want to, you can, because it's kind of funny to see who responds. Anyway, we have spoken before about how they've gotten smaller. Once upon a time, you could buy a 100 gram, call it a whatever bar, a Pluto bar. And, oh no, Pluto's not a thing anymore, is it?
Isn't it a Pluto
Pluto's
bar?
not a planet anymore, it's a dwarf planet. You could buy a Neptune bar, and now that same Neptune bar for the same money is 75 grams.
Yep, all
Or
those.
65 grams. Or getting
I've
smaller
noticed,
and
Martin,
smaller
a
and smaller.
200 gram bag of chips is now like 140 grams.
So
the bag size is the same, but there's less in it.
Why are they doing it?
Less product means more money.
Yes, but why are they doing it? Why long term? What's the long term aim of why they would be trying to save that money now?
Because,
Why now?
Are you asking me the question?
Yes.
I would think
So you
that
can get it.
obesity is a massive issue. Is a massive issue
It's a
already.
disease, yeah.
And a lot of health-related issues to that can ultimately be fatal. Similar to the cigarette companies, if you're dead, you're not a very good customer.
Exactly.
Are they trying to keep us alive?
Yeah, no, but not for the reasons you
Okay,
think.
all right,
Well, yes,
I
but
don't
not-
know then.
No, you're onto something. You're onto something there, for sure. So the portion size is getting smaller. There has been, for about the last 5 years, a company invented an insulin drug which was called semaglutide. And you might have heard of this, it's been all through the news. Basically, it's like an injectable drug that was for people that had insulin, but when they had the doses too high, they noticed that people's appetites disappeared. Now, there's been call it weight loss drugs around for a long time, but a lot of them had bad side effects, like some had heart disease issues and various other things that means it wasn't quite worth it. So far, there's now this huge growing, basically, like section of the market for drugs where this stuff is working really well. So instead of people with what's it called, diabetes, isn't it, when you need insulin? Instead of diabetes people, it's people just your average Joes that can take this stuff and their appetite disappears. And so the results have been really, really positive. Obviously, there's testing that has to happen for a long time before you can be sure there's no side effects. But what's actually happening is, on Wall Street, traders have been shorting, which is when you basically...
Is this a conspiracy or is this still a fact?
Oh, no, we're getting there.
Okay.
traders have been shorting food companies, restaurant companies, fast food businesses, stuff like that, basically which says it's going to go down and if it does, we'll profit.
They're betting on the loss.
They're betting on the loss because these weight loss drugs are about to completely transform people in a massive way. So the conspiracy is that these companies haven't been taking this away to be like smaller portion to make you skinnier. It's because they're going to lose so much money when everyone's on these medications that they're getting all the money now, trying to line the pockets to get ready for this massive decline in sales when people just stop eating their stuff.
Martin, the whole time that you were speaking, I was thinking two things. Number one, I genuinely don't think there's any other show like this on the internet. There's lots of people talking shit and there's lots of car things and lots of things going. To get your car news, a bit of fanking, a bit of whatever, and then go this deep. Because I was like fully into this now.
Drop my shit.
Like fully into like what you're talking about. But I was so into it that I felt like it didn't even sound conspiratorial. I was like, it just sounds like you're spitting facts. Do you know what I mean? Like it actually, when it seems so plausible, when someone goes, the Earth is flat, I don't know, I've seen some photos, it was round, like it was. Like it just was. And you go, I don't really understand why you'd be incentivized for thinking it's flat, but that there makes sense.
The drugs that make you feel fuller for longer and they suppress hunger cravings, and it's the most effective way to lose weight of any drug so far that has ever come out. Some people are saying it's going to be like the biggest thing since cell phones, GPS, whatever. So in another stat, so in 1991, 31% of adults in America were obese. Now it's 42%. It's grown 11% in that time.
Do you know what Australia is, out of
years.
interest?
We're 9th highest in the world, and I think we're about the 30 or 35% as well.
Okay.
It depends how you measure it, because if you go to BMI, it's not the most accurate way. Some people naturally will have a higher BMI, so I don't know exactly how the statistics of that work, but worth keeping in mind, because, I mean, if you're eating food and you're working out what's put in your bodies, we've spoken about this topic as well before, it's worth sort of thinking about what's going on here. I sometimes think that when you see a particular food item, it looks really good and interesting, and you look what's in it, it's like they're trying to make something that's going to get as many people to eat it with the least value or the least amount of stuff to do it. Which is why
maximum calorie, least efficiency of obtaining it.
Baked goods are so popular. Bakeries, I don't actually personally really understand bakeries and don't really eat baked goods that much. Yeah, dough on a pizza maybe so much, but just here's the thing of bread. It's like that was 10 grams of flour and some water, and you stick it in a box, and it turns out, and then you sell it for $3.
Martin, I realised that recently because I was making some of my own pizza dough in my thermo wagon, and I basically bought $2 of like home brand flour, which was 2 kilos.
Yeah.
And I used half of it, and I think I made 20 pizza bases.
Easily.
Of like this size, you know, and I was like,
which just is conduit for the rest of the
they're like
nutrition.
10 cents each,
Yes.
and that's me buying it from a supermarket.
Yes.
So
it's already loaded with profit margin. 30% of that's already in profit margin. So yeah, the food ones, there's heaps of food conspiracies and stuff like that, but I thought that was interesting just because those drugs are coming. By the way, I made all that shit up. It's not actually a conspiracy. Most of these are not. It's just what I thought about in the shower the other day because I was reading about those weight loss drugs and how I find it interesting when drugs like that are invented from something else.
Yeah.
It's like we were trying to fix diabetes, and as an accident, we've also fixed obesity.
that's what they fixed with the,
And if there's exactly
because wasn't made for, it was made for.
yeah, it was made for your heart.
I
Wasn't
think
it?
so. I don't know.
What's
Good.
next? What's next?
Thank of the week. Fanking is the delightful art of recontextualising a product's name by taking a photo of it down near your crotch. Today we've got a special one, mostly because we don't want to spend as much time in post putting all the photos in there. That's why. Let's be honest with all 38 of you. That's why, isn't
40.
it, Martin?
It's 40. You've got to get the new number in your head.
All right, everybody, boom.
going.
Here we go. Gorgeous growth. Look at that. I don't know what it is that they're making.
Anatel.
Don't know.
There was a double Fanking there you missed, by the way. You've got a pinky in there.
Next up, tasty stick. 75% meat and fish.
That's a good one.
Very good. Martin, quick and thick. Have you started doing some quick and thick lately?
I did it yesterday.
Did ya?
Yep.
Yep, I did a weed and feed.
Did you?
Yep. Martin,
Oh, double one.
well done. That's good.
Double Fank.
That's actually very clever,
Yeah.
and you should have been Fank of the Week, and
Well
whoever
done.
organised this got it wrong. Who did that, Martin?
That was you.
Okay. All right, Fank of the Week, drum roll, please. Martin, cock protection. which is great because we've had the arse cleaner, we haven't had the cock protection, and I don't know what Cobra Coat is, but it's
I like
scented.
that it's scented.
And it's just kind of cool.
Any
If you want to send us in your fanks, you can send them, put them on the Fanking Facebook group. It's on Facebook.
Click the thing. It's there. You just click it. You go, and it goes
And
in a
then
different
upload
little-
them.
It opens up.
Hours of fun at the pet store. It's fantastic. Martin, I think that's it.
Sounds like
We're
an
meant to have
album.
an eat bag.
Oh, we'll
but
eat
I
bag.
don't know if we do.
No, we'll
All right.
mailbag it. It'll
All
be
right.
depending what we find. It'll be an eat bag or a mail bag.
Every week on the show, we try and expand our brains by expanding our mouths. This was meant to be mailbag. We don't have any mail. Send us something. PO Box 475, Sydney Markets 2129, New South Wales, Australia. In the meantime, Martin's found us some.
I found us two things.
What have you got there, Martin?
One is a cereal choco,
Okay.
and one I have no idea. Should we go the no idea?
Let's just
one
go to
first?
no idea and have half of that each. Oh, it's just a biscuit. There's 2 biscuits. There we go. As long as it doesn't taste like seaweed. Look at that. It's like a little Japanese bun. No, tastes like coconut. It's delicious. Is it expired?
Anyone know what that says?
It's sesame, I reckon.
Maybe we should use like a translate thing.
Coconut sesame.
And then we have this, which is this. I reckon this is gonna be good. You know why? This looks exactly like the ones you get in Japan.
Do they look like the little mushrooms?
No, they just look like a little breakfast cereal.
Oh,
wheat
it's like
thing.
a little pillow. Looks like a Wheatie. It's a Wheatie with some chocolate in it. Don't like it.
Expires in a couple of weeks. Not
All right. Aren't you glad you
I
waited
had-
around till the end?
I read a comment that said we eat too loudly. When we were munching that pizza, there was comments there saying,
Oh, do you know why? Because I was using that kind of Japanese way of eating, where to slurp is to communicate your enjoyment. It was actually just really, really hot.
It's
And I
really
was like-
hot. And
And
also-
I could have gone quietly, but it's hot, so as I'm slurping, it's sucking air in, which is cooling it down.
and this is not an ASMR channel, so it's not.
It's
if
not?
we just sat it. Like doing it. That's so chat. I can't believe people actually do that.
Wanna try?
Yeah, but eat one of these. It's more crunchy.
But, and I want to though. I don't actually watch it. Do ASMR ever include any of their enjoyments
You know
of
what we're
the
also
noises?
going to do? Ready? No, you do yours, and then I've got
Hold
another
on.
trick for us.
Hold on. No, you're laughing through it.
Sorry.
You wrecked my ASMR performance. Hold on. Here we go. Come on, dude. You can't do that.
I can't help it.
Go somewhere else then.
All right, I'll go over
Just
here.
go somewhere else.
I'll go over here. Wait, I dropped my thing. Go.
All right. I just want to be able to perform without being laughed at. Here we go. That's not going to happen.
Wait, no, wait. One more thing. Do we have one
No,
more
no,
thing?
now we're wasting the internet.
No. Yeah, but this, yeah, no one's here anyway. Literally no one's watching this.
Okay.
You didn't tell them the thing that you're going to tell them at the end.
What thing?
There was a thing at the start you said I'll tell you later.
Can't remember what it was. You tell us.
That we can't answer the question now.
I don't know what the question
All right,
was.
ready? We're going to go full techno. So we're gonna like cut a thing here. Okay, now I'm on this side and he's on that side. Are you listening in headphones?
What?
You ready for this?
This sounds like more work to do in post.
No. I'm hard left and he's hard right. Ready? You're about to get
Oh, am I
stereo.
about to do it?
Ready?
But
3,
don't laugh at me.
2, 1.
Oh, dude, you're too loud.
No, too loud.